hit the ground running in 2018, and it was beginner's luck for the retail side on my end, and I could not be full-time mom, full-time employee, full-time real estate agent, and full-time wife. It was way too many hats spinning, or plates, and just couldn't handle it all. So did end up leaving the W-2 job summer of 2019 and jumping in full-time. And that is when the real fun began, because Ben's idea of having his wife / assistant just do it all for him, and him not doing anything because he
Welcome to the Ben and Lisa Show, Episode 1. Now, this podcast has been long overdue for far too long. We have a lot of people inside of our network, friends, family, strangers on social media that they ask us all the time, like, how do you do it? How do you work with your spouse? So we figured we'd open it up and invite you guys to join the conversation. So welcome.
Yeah.
This is my beautiful bride, Lisa, aka Mom, Realtor of the Year. So without further ado, we're going to open up this first episode talking about how do you guys do it as a husband-wife team in this journey of entrepreneurship.
Let's go.
So we got some questions inspired by our audience. And the first question that people commonly ask us and want to know is, what inspired you and your spouse to start working together? I'll let you answer the first question.
So I don't think the word inspired would be the word, maybe necessity, and then it just kind of unfolded from there, and it works for us and our personalities. It, of course, definitely was an endeavor that we had to learn and adapt for sure with each other, and lots of grace and forgiveness and just all of the things. But yeah, I would say that you needed a role filled, and I knew how to do it, and I just stepped right in, and it just started flowing.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we rewind the tape a little bit, when I first started my career as a real estate investor, right? I was marketing to motivated sellers. And of course, we're looking for discounted real estate, right? We're looking to get our hands on properties that need work, that are undervalued, that we can go in there, make a cash offer, and either buy it to flip it or buy it to keep it as a rental. But I quickly learned in this season that there's a lot of motivated house sellers that don't necessarily need to sell their house quickly or at a discount. And I remember approaching you saying, hey, Lisa, what would it look like to get your real estate license? Right? Just opening up the conversation, because I saw the huge influx of people that I was unable to serve directly. And I had this grander vision in my mind of what it would look like working with your spouse, right? I'm like, this would be awesome. This would be super. And I think I even pictured and envisioned all of the tasks and the load that you would take off of my plate in doing so, which was the opposite of what actually transpired. But yeah, it started as necessity, right? And figuring out how can we take this small idea, right? The idea of me getting into real estate, flipping houses, how can we make it a little bit better?
Yeah. In my mind, I had no plans of leaving my W-2 job at the time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved where I worked. I loved what I did. I loved the people I worked with and for. And I just thought, oh, that's cool. I'll help you on the side. Of course, make a little bit of extra cash. Everyone loves that. And it's going to be this perfect world. Well, hit the ground running in 2018, and it was beginner's luck for the retail side on my end, and I could not be full-time mom, full-time employee, full-time real estate agent, and full-time wife. It was way too many hats spinning, or plates, and just couldn't handle it all. So did end up leaving the W-2 job summer of 2019 and jumping in full-time. And that is when the real fun began, because Ben's idea of having his wife / assistant just do it all for him and him not doing anything like as far as teaching me how to do it or explaining, he was just like, oh, you don't have a job now, so I need you to do all these things. And so for lack of better words, he was over here doing his thing, and he's like, okay, here's all the stuff I don't want to do, now you can do it. And I'm like, that's not how this is gonna work. And then in my mind, I was self-employed and carefree, and it was summertime with my kids. The worst time to do entrepreneurship is when you have zero schedule. So the beginning was fun, but it took about a year and a half. We found a common ground, and
I'll say this: working with your spouse is not for the faint in heart, especially in the beginning stages. Right, because it's going to take some time to craft some middle ground. You can't just jump out and expect that you guys are going to get along well. You're going to be able to communicate efficiently. Right, in my case, I tried to hand over the book and all the tasks to Lisa, right? And I'm like, well, she'd be perfect to help the administrative stuff that I'm not good at, right? Like an entrepreneur's idea to grow and scale is, all right, how can I replace myself, starting with the tasks that I dislike the most, right? And I think I had the whole paradigm backwards in how we rolled that out. But it was a journey. It was fun.
We both failed forward in the last few years, for sure. Yeah, it's something that takes practice, just like anything else in life. And you learn a lot about one another, right? You learn how to be better at communication in your marriage as well. Sometimes on the opposite side of that, it can draw lines in communication, right? There's two ways to that street, depending on the season. But you got to be in it together, right? You made this commitment in life together, so figuring out how your personalities can iron together to build a vision much larger is how it's done. And I would say we're the yin and yang of each other, so to speak, but at the same time we do have similar personality qualities, such as we both have firstborn traits. We're both very stubborn and prideful and strong-willed, and we have to, as husband and wife, figure out the roles there. More so on my end. He gives in way more easily than I do. It's something I need to learn better. But I would say that now we've gotten into a good flow, but it wasn't always like that. There's been many times where we've just said, hey, I'll see you at home much later. Please take your time at work. It's and then some days it's great and it's fun, and those days happen more often than not now. So